Welcome to What's Cooking, New Ulm. I'm Rebecca Fliszar, the dietitian with the Hearts Beat Back Heart of New Ulm project, working to reduce and eventually eliminate heart attacks in the 56073 zip code. All right, we have some great recipes today, and today we're actually going to have a Japanese one, a little bit different. You know, when we hear some of these terms, we think it's a very foreign dish, but actually we're going to see some fairly common foods. So welcome Becky and Christine Hosna to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, so why don't we talk a little bit first about the dish that you're going to be making, what the ingredients are, and tell us a little bit about the prep time and what goes into this dish.
Oh, geez. How about we do one question at a time?
Okay.
I'm just kidding. It's a Japanese dish, like you said. It's called Yakisoba. It actually just means fried noodles. So.
Okay, are there fried noodles in this?
Well, we're gonna just boil them, and yeah, you will fry them into everything. Not a lot of oil. Pretty simple. You want to talk about some of the other stuff that's in there?
We're going to be using, our vegetables are going to be carrots. We're going to have some onions in there.
And your cabbage is going to be your base?
Mm-hmm. Yep, we have some pork marinating right now, pork chops. So
now, I noticed on this one we're using pork. Can you change because it's basically, the basic concept is the fried noodles, so can you change your basic meat or?
Oh yeah, chicken would be really good in there.
Whatever
shrimp, whatever your preference would be.
Okay, good. So tell us what you've done with the pork so far.
Okay, so far we just took 2 boneless chops. These ones were bone in, so we just eliminated the bone, cut them up into nice bite-sized cubes, so that way when we fry them up, they kind of shrink down. You can eat it really easily.
Okay, and then you marinated this in a red wine. And actually, we used a red wine vinegar. That way we didn't actually purchase any alcohol to go with this. A regular red wine would work as well. It's actually a little bit cheaper to do it that way too. Oftentimes when you use the red wine vinegar, you are going to smell that very distinctive vinegar smell, and that's going to burn off once you get into your cooking phase. So that vinegar will burn off. You won't taste that at all. So it's a question that comes up pretty often, but don't be afraid to substitute the red wine vinegar for the regular cooking wine or the regular red wine. All right, well, let's get started. What do we do first?
Okay, well, typically you get your water boiling, but you took the liberty and done that for us, so that's great.
So, yep, you're going to
noodles
boil
are
those
ready
noodles.
to go.
Yep.
Meat's going to marinate, so let's just get chopping the vegetables.
Okay.
So, Christine, if you want to take a cabbage, have it, chop it up, throw it in this bowl. I'll get started on the onion.
All right, why don't you start on that one? Now, you might have seen Christine before. She's been on our Fit in 5 with Holly. You were actually our intern here last summer with the Heart of New Ulm, right?
Correct. I spent 300 hours this summer with the Heart of New Ulm.
And what did you take away from it, Christine? What do you think was the toughest project that you worked on?
The toughest project was probably preparing speeches for Holly with the work, going to the work sites and giving some speeches, doing that. Preparing for it was probably the toughest part.
Okay, and what that is part of our employee wellness campaign is we actually go into our work sites and give presentations on different topics regarding nutrition, fitness, sleep, stress, anything that's going to affect your heart health. So Christine was kind enough to help us with those. What was the most enjoyable thing for you?
Probably just working with everyone and being able to work with the community and help people.
Good. And did you make any changes to your lifestyle because of Heart of New Ulm?
Yeah, I've been working out a lot more and just being more active.
Good, good. And Becky, as a community member, you're in one of our work sites, so tell us a little bit about what you do down at United Prairie.
Right now well, it's not right now, but we participated in the Jingle Bell Jam preparation, doing 30-minute walks. 2 days a week, we upped it to 2 days a week doing it. That way we could get all of our hours in. We all tracked our times, so we had a little competition going. There was an incentive program for us, so it was really kind of a fun thing to do if you're on the competitive side.
Good.
We all did that, then the race got canceled or postponed.
Right.
So now we're all kind of in limbo waiting. Some of us are still working out. Some of us not so much. It's hard now that it's cold to motivate people to get outside and want to do anything. So doing that, we have flyers that you guys sent to us, so we posted those. So there's always tips for everybody, and it's kind of fun, something else to talk about other than work.
Good. You know, these benefits are available to all employees within the 56073 zip code. So if your office does not currently participate in any of the Heart of New Ulm events, give us a call at 233-1945, and we can get you started on some of those programs as well. We have a lot of opportunities. We have cooking demonstrations, ongoing presentations, different challenges for your office, anything to get your work site moving. We have different competitions throughout the year that you can also engage in, cooking competitions and other fitness challenges that Becky had mentioned. So do get involved and let us know how we can help. All right, so how much of that cabbage are you going to be using?
We're going to try to do about half of it.
Okay.
It gets to be so much when you have to put it all in the pan, so we're going to do about half, and that way it makes a bit of a smaller meal also. You can do the whole thing. You can also use more noodles and feed, a bigger family, but our family's small. We have 4 people.
Okay.
So a small meal is easy for us.
Great. And again, we're adding in the onion. It's going to be up to you for your taste. If you're a big fan of onion, remember that is going to be tempered quite a bit as you heat that up. So you can add a little extra onion into your dish. If you're not a fan, you can omit that, and you're still going to have a very healthy meal here. So that looks great. Now, where did you come up with this recipe?
This is our grandma's. My dad is half Japanese, or our dad, and his mom lived in Japan for most of her life and then moved here when she got married. So it's her recipe. She came down one time the end of the summer and taught us how to do about 5 different things. We do egg rolls and this and some different shrimp dishes, and we did sushi.
Okay.
Learned how to roll, but we're not quite masters at that one yet.
Okay, that's great. And all of those that you mentioned can be made very heart healthy. What we did with this one, your traditional yakisoba was a little bit higher in sodium. So we did make some modifications to this recipe. Some of the things that we took out were any additional salt that was added. We also went with the low sodium soy sauce. That's going to make a difference. And we cut back on the beef bouillon. All of those are places that you can start to reduce that. I think the greatest sodium reducer, yeah, that looks probably pretty good there. You're going to be full in your pan. Was the omission of the traditional recipe called for ramen noodles and their seasonings. Ramen noodles are very quick and inexpensive meal, but they are really loaded with sodium. So we've made some modifications. So what seasonings will you be using today?
We're going to try a little bit of minced garlic, and then we're going to go with the fresh thyme.
Okay.
I'm going to pluck those off there. We have some lemon pepper to get a little bit of zest in there, and we're going with the ground oregano.
Okay. So again, this is an opportunity for you to tailor this recipe to what you like. Again, you always want to try some different things. Write down what it is that you modified, and then you can tweak it from there. You can come up with different things as you go, as you make this recipe.
Cut them in slivers if you can. Otherwise,
All right, well, while we finish cutting up these vegetables, why don't we go ahead and check with Holly for our Fit in 5.
Okay. One of the questions that I frequently get from exercisers, new exercisers and avid exercisers, is why am I so stinking sore after an exercise routine? What you experience 24 to 48 hours after exercise is called delayed onset muscle soreness, and it's fairly normal. If you're new to being physically active or you're an avid exerciser, you can experience delayed onset muscle soreness. New exercisers will experience it because basically you're new to being physically active. Avid exercisers can experience it when they do something new or something different. So if you typically are a runner and you go into swim, you're going to notice that the next day your shoulders may be a little bit sore. And it's just because you're using different muscles than what you would typically use in your normal routine. It's not necessarily bad to have DOMS or delayed onset muscle soreness, but it is a little bit uncomfortable. So how can you prevent this from happening? Well, one way is a good proper warm-up. Make sure that you increase your body temperature gradually. Before you get to that peak exercise intensity, you want to warm up. You also want to cool down. Make sure that you cool the body down. One thing that I see a lot of is people will finish their physical activity routine and they won't bother to stretch the muscles or do anything to slow the body down. You want to make sure to do a cool down as well. Another thing that you can do if you do experience delayed onset muscle soreness is don't sit still the next day. It's actually just going to get worse. Try and work some of that muscle byproduct out of your system by doing some type of low impact activity that requires you to move. If you do a proper warm-up and a nice cool down, chances are your muscles won't tend to be nearly as sore the next day. Hopefully these tips will help your exercise routine be comfortable and a little less sore. With today's Fit in 5, I'm Holly, and have a healthy day.
Thanks, Holly. Make sure you're staying active throughout the winter and keeping up your physical fitness. Remember, all year long, if you keep up a good habit, the summertime walks will be that much more enjoyable. All right, ladies, where are we at and what's next?
All right, so it looks like we have all our vegetables cut up. We got the cabbage diced, we have the carrots chopped, and we did some onion in there. So I think we're ready to hit the stove.
All right, let's go ahead.
All right, so first thing we're going to do is throw down this meat.
All right, so you've already started heating up the pan with some oil, correct?
Hopefully pan is hot. Keep
All
your
right.
fingers crossed.
All right, we'll hear it. And that's just a light coating to make sure that pork isn't going to stick. We don't want to use more than about a tablespoon. If you wanted to, you could use some regular cooking spray, and that would reduce those calories as well. Remember, we choose our olive oil because it is high in mono and polyunsaturated fats. Our good fats are those that are going to bring up our good cholesterol and down our bad. We're trying to avoid those saturated fats, so you're going to notice we're not using any kind of butter on this. We want to make sure we kind of stay away from those heavy saturated fats. And remember, anything listed with trans fats is also something that we're going to avoid. All right, so this is about 2 pork chops, like Becky mentioned, and we can start adding in our ingredients.
I'm actually just going to season chops just a little bit. I know they've been marinated, but it's kind of a habit. So throw a little lemon pepper on those.
And now we marinated those just a short time. So based on your flavor preference, you can leave those in that marinade for longer if you like that strong red wine flavor, or just a short time as we did to just give it a little bit of a bite. Okay?
I do need a spoon though.
Okay, or you can just use your knife and scoop it in.
Oh, I could do that. We're just going to add a little bit of garlic, minced garlic to this. Season that up a little bit more. And again, that's just to your taste too. It does have a strong flavor. So.
That's right. Remember, garlic is one of our great foods for heart health. If you can incorporate that in, it's only going to help you out. It does have a distinct flavor, so be sure that you like it, but the more you can use, the better off it is for your heart. While we are cooking our pork, we've often been sensitive to the temperature on pork, and we do like to get it to 165 degrees. But if any of you were able to attend our Chef Charlie presentation, we did find out that things like trichinosis have been pretty well eradicated from our diet, and it isn't quite as much an issue. It is a good idea to let pork set after you've cooked it before cutting it. That's when you're going to get your best flavor and make sure you get up to that right temperature. Remember, when you take pork off of the stove, it's still going to rise about 5 degrees. So adjust your cooking temperatures to that. You don't want to overcook your meat as well. All right, how's that coming?
Looks like it's coming along nicely.
Okay. And how long are we going to cook that before we add in our vegetables?
I just want to make sure it's cooked all the way through, so we're going to wait just maybe a minute or 2 yet. Just keep rotating it around. We'll throw in the carrots. Those will take a longer time to cook, but like, you don't want to cook the vegetables too long because that cabbage will really condense down, get watery, so you want to still have some crunch in that. So once you throw the vegetables in, it's a very quick process.
Okay. You know, we could also use the red cabbage, or we could use different greens in this as well. So as I've mentioned many times, if you like things like dandelion, or if you like Swiss chards, other kinds of green vegetables, go ahead and add those in as well. They're going to change your flavor a little bit, but also changes your nutrient composition. So you can make a healthier meal just by changing one of our ingredients. If you enjoy cabbage, this is a great way to make it as well. So all of you sauerkraut fans, give it a try. Upcoming for the Heart of New Ulm, we've recently announced we had our casting call, and now our new Faces of New Ulm. In upcoming episodes of What's Cooking New Ulm, we'll be featuring these 8 people that are willing to share their stories with our community. You'll see their changes from maybe unhealthy cholesterol levels, overweight, smoking, whatever problem they've identified that is affecting their heart health. We will be following them, and they'll be featured on What's Cooking New Ulm and see the changes they've made. Remember, these are people within your community that also are making changes that you can make as well. Follow them along, make the small changes they recommend, and you too can be an ideal heart health.
Okay, so we're just going to get ready to put in our vegetables right about now.
Okay.
Once these get started cooking, we're going to throw on a little bit of Worcestershire sauce and some low-sodium soy sauce, just for flavoring, get the juices rolling. And then we can go ahead and add the rest of our seasonings. We're going to add the noodles, rotate it all around until all the noodles are a consistent light brown color, you know, the color of your soy sauce.
Okay.
Make sure everything's heated through, and then we're good to go.
All right, that sounds great. There's some great Heart of New Ulm events coming up in the next few weeks that you might want to participate in. So we're looking at more than just being active through physical fitness classes. So we do have our belly dancing class going on. We'll start our walking groups again as the weather turns nice. But in March, you're also going to see a great chess tournament in conjunction with the New Ulm Public Library, and that will be held on the 1st of March. And also, we'll be having a ping pong tournament on the 20th of March at Vogel Arena. So there's many different challenges and events to keep you active, be social, and help reduce your stress level. Don't think that you have to be out running to be in good heart health. All right, I see your vegetables are cooking down quite well. What is going to be the next step then in this recipe?
So actually, all that's left now is to incorporate the noodles. So
Okay.
we'd drain our water, get the noodles so they're still hot, put them into the pan gradually, and I'll help Christine here in a minute do that. Mix it in with your vegetables, and like I said before, we're going to throw in a little bit of soy sauce, just to kind of give it a nice coating, bring it all in together.
Okay. Now what we chose today would be the cholesterol-free egg noodles, and they're available in all of our grocers. This is going to give us a nice texture, and yet it's going to not add that basic cholesterol that would be found in regular egg noodles. So you can use different kinds of noodles as well. You could use a whole wheat pasta as the base of this. You can choose whatever to your taste, but do try to avoid the regular egg noodles. They are higher in cholesterol, and of course that is what we're looking to reduce in our Heart of New Ulm diet. This is going to be a pretty filling meal. You can see that with these vegetables and the egg noodles, it's going to create quite a bit of food, like you had mentioned in the beginning. Even for 4, that looks like it's going to do quite well.
Yeah, and actually we did cut back from the recipe from my grandma, so you can see it definitely would make a lot of food.
You can see too, this is going to be a great meal on a budget. We did use the bone-in pork chops, which are going to be a little bit lower in price, and just cut those up. And with our vegetables as a filler and the egg noodles, this is going to come out at just about $3.50 per person on this meal. So a great way to make a healthy, heart-healthy dinner, and yet keep your cholesterol level down and watch your budget as well. In the near future, you're going to start to see our grocery store tour here on New Cat. If you haven't been able to make it out to the store yourselves, this will be a great opportunity for you to understand how to shop smart, how to follow a budget, and stay heart healthy in any grocery store that you choose. Be sure to look for that coming soon. Now the soy sauce does have a very distinct flavor, but even as a low sodium product, this is still very high in salt. So if you are on a high blood pressure diet, if you're watching your sodium level, make sure you reduce this as much as possible. Use it only for a slight flavoring. Maybe put it on at the end of the meal where you can use a smaller quantity. Remember, we're looking for 2,000 milligrams per day for sodium, and this is going to be pretty close to that in just a small quantity.
All right, so it looks like she's getting everything mixed well together. I would say within the next couple minutes, everything will be ready to go.
Okay, yeah, it looks
You
great.
just don't want the cabbage to reduce too much that it's, mush and there's all that water sitting in the bottom. So
Okay. As a reminder that yakisoba is just fried noodles. You can use things like chicken breast, shrimp was mentioned. All of those would work in here well. Even a beef tenderloin, you could slice that up and use that as well. So if you're not interested in the pork, you can switch that out. Remember, if you're using your loin or your round cuts in both beef and pork, those are going to be our heart-healthy choices. All right, looks like we're ready to about plate that up.
I think we are.
Okay. So bring that on over, Christine, and we'll see how it looks. Remember to start out with a pretty big pan. We even reduced this recipe, and yet we're at max capacity. So you can see how great this is going to look. That's fine. You can just show how that looks. This is actually about, you said, for about 4 people?
Yep.
Okay, so you're going to get a nice...
we're going to have leftovers, but...
Yeah, a nice filling meal with following our heart-healthy principles, and yet you're not going to have to watch those portion sizes too much. You're going to go away full. So this looks like a great meal. You don't need any kind of sides or anything else to go with it. This is complete in itself. maybe a little bit of a healthy alternative to our traditional hot dish. So girls, this looks great, and we sure appreciate you bringing it in, and I think it looks like we're ready to eat.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, well, that is it for this week's episode of What's Cooking, New Ulm. Be sure to tune in again next week.